What's up guys, Chicks here from Chicks Tech Reviews. So I'm back once again with another episode of Speed Test Review. And today we are going to be checking out the ASUS ROG Phone 2. Now I've heard a lot of good things about this phone, but today we will indeed find out the truth about this device. So as usual, I will be running a series of real-time hardware and software tests, which includes disk speeds, benchmarks, gaming, cameras, and lots more. So without any further ado, let's get started. So let's begin with a boot up speed test. As soon as I see the Android logo, I'm going to hit start. So here we go. Pressing the power button now. And you will also notice the specs on the screen whilst the speed test is going on. Here we go, getting ready to pause. 18.33 seconds. So 18.33 seconds is a pretty fast boot up time. So next up we are going to be testing the internal disk speeds. So here we go. And here are your results. We have read speeds of 1.2 gigabits per second and write speeds of 434 megabits per second. Now this unit has 512 gigs of internal storage supporting UFS 3.1. Okay, so next up I'm going to open up CPU Z. We have the Snapdragon 855 Plus octa-core clocked at 2.9 gigahertz. Now this is supported by the Adreno 640. If we click on device information, you can see the model number. Now this smartphone has a whopping 12 gigs of DDR4 RAM with 512 gigabytes of internal storage. If we click on system, you've got Android version 9 with ROG UI on top. Now the software itself is not bad in use. It is the ROG UI, so you've got all the custom ROG icons. But I have to say I do like it quite a bit. And I just want to quickly show you the logo, and you've got these LED lights constantly changing color. And if I open up DRM info, you will see that this supports Google Widevine level 1, which means you do have support for Netflix HDR. And in case you're wondering, you can stream a maximum of 1080p at 60 frames per second with HDR on YouTube. So we are now going to run a quick sound test. We do have two front-firing stereo speakers, and you've also got support for DTS:X. So let's see what it sounds like. Wow. The next test is going to be a Wi-Fi speed test. And we achieved download speeds of 65.6 megabits per second and upload speeds of 19.3 megabits per second. So next up we're going to run a GPS test. Now this is an indoor GPS test, and we are going to see how quickly we can obtain a fix. We have a pretty good GPS in this device. So moving on now to the gaming test, and we have to begin with Call of Duty Mobile. And this is where I get the opportunity to try out those air triggers. It really feels quite good. Wow, air triggers are awesome.
Enemy taking B. We've taken the lead. Enemy taking B. Capturing Bravo. Missile on standby. We're capturing B. Capturing Bravo. We've captured B. Friendly hunter killer deployed. Losing Bravo. Captured C. We lost the lead.
So now it's time to check out the fingerprint sensor. It is of course an in-screen sensor, and you can see that the fingerprint sensor is super fast and accurate every single time. You also do have face unlock in this smartphone, and I'm going to test it out right now. And you can see that you have a super fast and accurate face unlock as well. So pleased to say that you've got a fast fingerprint and face unlock in this device. Now let's talk about the cameras. On the back we have a 48 megapixel main sensor, and you also have a 13 megapixel ultra wide. On the front we have a 24 megapixel selfie camera. You have your full featured camera modes from time-lapse, slow motion, motion tracking, video, photos, portrait, pano, night mode, and you've even got a pro mode. And if we have a look at our video settings, you can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, and it looks like with image stabilization. And in your photo settings you have a maximum resolution of 48 megapixels. So now I am going to take a few shots and share them with you guys right now. So I'm out and about, local park, shooting 4K at 60 frames per second with the ASUS ROG 2. Absolutely amazing smartphone. I really do like this phone, and we are finding out what the camera can do. 4K at 60 frames per second, and there is image stabilization, and on the screen it looks very nice indeed. So quick jog. So I'm holding this camera freehand. I am jogging now, so we are really putting that stabilization to the test, and this is what you can expect in terms of stabilization. So that's 4K at 60 frames per second. I am going to quickly drop down resolution. So we are now shooting 4K at 30 frames per second. Image stabilization is on, and we're in our local park. It's a cold, dull day today, windy as well, and this is what you can expect in terms of image stabilization. So we are now shooting 1080p at 60 frames per second with the front-facing camera, and this is what the quality looks like. We will find out if we do have image stabilization. On screen it does look actually very stable. So now it's time for our benchmarks, beginning with Geekbench single core 768, and we achieved a multi-core of 2528. And in the AnTuTu benchmark test we achieved 494K. So let's see how that compares with the others. And here is my top performing smartphone chart for 2019, showing you the latest smartphones and seeing how they compare with each other. And as you can see, the new ASUS ROG Phone 2 has taken position 2 on this chart with an AnTuTu benchmark score of 494K. Now you can view the full versions of all my charts online at chigstech.com and read them at your leisure. So there you have it guys, that was my hands-on speed test review of the ASUS ROG Phone 2. And this is how I see it. You have a very bold and unique design. This phone is certainly a head turner. You have Gorilla Glass 6 on the front and on the back with an RGB logo in the middle. The phone looks like a beast and feels super premium in the hands. Even the camera has a unique jagged cutout on the top left. The design is definitely a like or hate situation, and as a gamer I personally really like the design of this smartphone. Performance is one of the best I've experienced on any flagship this year. You have the Snapdragon 855 Plus version supported with massive 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage. Android version 9 with ROG UI is actually not bad, very smooth in operation, and lots of tweaks to play around with in the software. Gaming is absolutely incredible on this device. You have a large, gorgeous OLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, along with an exceptional cooling system, and the air triggers are on another level. You also get an additional cooling fan accessory which you snap on the back to keep things looking cool both internally and externally. Now let's talk about the camera. This smartphone has the same camera as the Zenfone 6, the OnePlus 7 Pro, and many other top flagships of this year, and you can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second with very smooth image stabilization. You also have a 13 megapixel ultra wide. Now there is no telephoto, but to be honest, I am not missing the telephoto lens at all, and I can surely say that this smartphone has a very good camera for both photos and videos. The stereo speakers are absolutely amazing. You have crystal clear sound, and it does get pretty loud too. Battery life can last you up to 3 days with mixed usage, and if you switch on the power hungry 120Hz mode, the phone still manages to impress with a full day of battery life. Furthermore, a 30-watt fast charger is included in the box and will give you a 40% charge in just 30 minutes, which is impressive considering it's a massive 6000 mAh battery. Fingerprint sensor is in display and it's very fast and accurate, and you also have a fast face unlock to go with it. Now let's talk about the extras. You have a headphone jack, fast charging, 120Hz OLED display, clip-on fan, stereo speakers, RGB lights, air triggers, but we do not have wireless charging, IP rating, or micro SD card slot. Bottom line, the ASUS ROG Phone 2 is the ultimate gaming phone with a superbly smooth screen, more power than you will know what to do with, and a brilliant battery life. Those features coupled with its massive storage space means the ROG Phone 2 is a fine choice even if you're not into gaming. And this phone, in my opinion, is one of the best smartphones you can buy of 2019. And price wise is actually not bad at all. Depending on where you buy this from, you can pick up the 8GB model with 128GB storage for only $519. And if you're after the 12GB model with 512 storage, then it will cost you only $899. So you're certainly getting bang for your buck with this smartphone. So those were my thoughts on the ASUS ROG Phone 2 after using it for a few months. Now do let me know what you guys think of this smartphone in the comments below. Is this going to be your next smartphone, or have you already bought this phone? Do let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I will leave the links in the description box below in case you want to check this phone out for yourselves. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a brilliant day. I'll see you guys in the next one.